Of course, it's a very complicated decision, and I think particularly with the golden line for the artist, because Massimiliano's exhibition, Gioni's exhibition, is one that's almost like a jigsaw puzzle, and every artist fits together with the other artists. So to take somebody out was quite difficult because they felt very much part of one totality. But I think in the end we were all very happy to have to celebrate Tino Segal. He's been an extraordinary figure for the last decade in terms of artistic production, and I think we all felt that he absolutely deserved it as an artist beyond his work in the exhibition, really to represent his work as an artist over the last few years. So we were extremely happy about that. The pavilion, Angola was a surprise to us. Of course, it's their first participation here. The level of sophistication and the simplicity with which they went about the project was, I think, something that struck all of us. And then, of course, the aspect of collaboration, which is something that is a feature also of the other two pavilions that we awarded a special recommendation for. Each of them had come out of a very much a collective practice. So in Angola, two architects working with the artists to produce really an incredibly effective and very simple gesture in this space that brought across both the complexities of Angola and to some extent the impossibility of representing one's nation in Venice. Well, I think there are some extraordinary artists in the exhibition. I think what's really unique this year, and perhaps also has raised the level of the whole Biennale, is that it's such a beautifully executed exhibition. It's really incredibly well thought out. Every element of it, every additional work, every work that's been placed has been thought through so carefully. So it's it's an incredible experience to walk through and to absorb the information.
Well, it was great to work with the jury. It was a really good group, and spending 5 days looking at everything has really created a constant dialogue and conversation amongst us. So that really helped the decision making. We disagree on certain things, but it wasn't a case of arguing madly. It was more a case of breaking things into pieces and unpacking certain implication of the pavilions or the single works or the artist, and it was a really interesting discussion, but a great experience for all of us, I think. Definitely, and I think that what Tino said in his thank you speech and what Massimiliano said is really important. Also, the choice of the national pavilion that we made all imply collaboration and opening to other things. So the sign of this biennial is that art is not a world closed onto itself, just looking to reflect about what art is, but the more it opens up to other people coming into the work, producing and authoring the work, the more it opens up to other disciplines, the more it opens up to other situations, the better. And I think this is really what we felt was important to give as a sign and as a message from the jury.
We saw a lot, and then we discussed a lot, and we went back and forth, and it was just a decision we felt strongly about. Tino Segal, he's invented a new language and a new way of working that's going to be reverberating and influencing for years to come, decades to come. And so we're rewarding the work in the show and his entire practice. Angola Pavilion, the collaboration between the curators who are architects and the play between the last Architecture Biennale and the artists and the photography and the installation of the exhibition and working with this old plaza that had never been opened before, the entire thing about collaboration and politics and displacement and disorientation was quite compelling.
The discussion centered around, in the case of Tino Segal, around how his performances, he actually does not call them performances, how his work that is generally event-based and that involves people in acting a set of situations, how that has had an impact in the way in which perceive not only exhibition making or the genre itself of performance, but also how does discursive, textual, archival, documentary material fit in and is reenacted, throughout art history. In the case of Canel, the work is, on the one hand, extremely beautiful, and I think that the way in which it dealt with a very ambitious, difficult subject to some extent, but in such a dynamic way, very stimulating visually, but also very thoughtful emotionally, were the two highlights of the discussion.